Hello everyone, I'm Aditi with one more grammar component, past tense. So today we are going to discuss about past tense with me, and we are going to revise the various component of past tense, and at the end we are going to do an exercise based on it. So let us go for past tense. Before beginning with the class, you must know that why do we learn it? What is the objective behind it? The objectives are, at the end of the lesson, you'll all be able to use past tense in the sentences with the correct form. You'll all be able to identify the different types of tenses in past. You will all be able to practice exercise and recapitulate the content at the end of the lesson. What is past tense? Past tense basically shows the verb in past time. The verb in past time. That means the action that is completed in the past. Fine. The action that is completed in the past. And generally here we use the second form of the verb. So any action that has taken place in the past refers to the past tense. Fine. So the past tense shows the verb in past time. The action is completed in the past. So about that action, if we are referring, that means we are talking about past tense. We are indicating the action that is already completed in the past tense. There are different types of past tense. Simple past tense or past indefinite, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. So these are the four types of past tense we are going to deal in this session. So the first tense is simple past tense. Simple past tense expresses an action finished before the time of speaking, or generally it expresses the past habits. It expresses the past habits. So this sometimes refer to the tense which is used in the time in such a way that it replies or rather indicate the past event. It indicates the past event, like the action that has been completed in the past. It refers to the regular action in the past, or expresses an event which occurred at a particular point of time in the past, or it expresses an action where some words showing the past action, as for example yesterday, ago, and last. So I repeat again, simple past tense refers to the action which is finished before the time of speaking, or it refers or rather expresses some past habits, or sometime it refers to an event which occurred at a particular point in the past. For example, my father came back home yesterday. Or it expresses a habitual or a regular action in the past. For example, Gandhiji always spoke the truth. So these are some of the ways in which we use simple past tense. And what is the form of a structure of a sentence? Subject plus second form of the verb. So simple past tense always use second form of the verb. Subject plus second form of the verb. Let us look at the example. We saw a snake last night. So we is our subject, which is plural. We saw. So with subject we have used the verb in past tense, simple past tense, that is second form of the verb. The three forms of see will be see, saw, seen. So we have used the second form of the verb. So it identifies that it is simple past tense. I went for a walk with my grandfather. So go, went, and gone. So I went for a walk with my grandfather. So what we need to take care here is, with the subject, we directly use the second form of the verb. I lived in Delhi from 2000 to 2005. So that is a past event. I lived. Mohan bought a cake for his mother. Mohan being singular. Sorry, Mohan is a singular boy. So we are using the second form of the verb, and it highlights that it is the second form of the verb and it is in simple past tense. Rajiv paid the bill for the package. Pay, paid, paid. So again it is second form of the verb. Rajiv paid the bill of the package. So these all sentences are in positive sentences. But what if we have to make a negative sentence? The usage of not. So when we need to make a negative sentence, we use did plus not in order to make a negative sentence in past tense. Subject plus did not plus first form of the verb. Always remember, with did we always use first form of the verb. Example, I did not go to the office. I did not. Did not tells us that it's a negative sentence, and with did we have used go, first form of the verb. I did not go to the office. Now the next is interrogative sentence. How do we make an interrogative sentence? We place did before the subject. We place did before the subject. So how do we make it? Did you show me your work? And then you put a question mark because it's an interrogative sentence. So you need to put a question mark. Did you show me your work? Becomes your interrogative sentence. So this is one of the type of past tense, that is simple past tense. So I repeat again. If you are making a positive sentence, you use the subject plus second form of the verb. If you are making a negative sentence, you need to use did, both with singular as well as for plural. Subject plus did not plus first form of the verb. And if you have to make an interrogative sentence, for an interrogative sentence, you need to put did before the subject, as in, did you show me your work? And then you put a question mark. So this way we make simple past tense. Now let us go to the next slide for past continuous tense. Now past continuous tense, it is used to express an action in progress at some moment before the time of speaking. That means past continuous tense denotes an action going on in the past. And in order to form the past continuous tense, we add present participle to it. Fine. So here we are talking about past continuous tense. Past continuous tense refers to, or rather it denotes an action going on at some point in the past, and the time of action may or may not be indicated here. Like, let us go for the structure, sentence structure. What would be the sentence structure? Subject plus the form of be. And here the form of be will be was for singular, were for plural, and verb in the ing form. So it's a continuous sentence, so we need to use verb in the ing form. I was playing with my mother when she came in. So what was happening when I was playing? So one action was going on. I was playing with my mother when she came in. So I was playing. So helping verb plus verb in the ing form. So I was playing denotes that it is in past continuous tense. Namita was getting ready for a party. Namita being singular, we have used was and verb in the ing form. Namita was getting ready for a party. It was raining heavily at 5 p.m. last evening. It was raining. So it being singular, so we are going to use was raining. Raining highlights that it is in continuous tense. Heavily at 5 p.m. last evening. Now if you have to make a question, then it would be, what were you preparing when guests arrived? Fine. What were you preparing when the guests arrived? So what you need to do in interrogative form, the helping verb is just placed before the subject. Here we have used the question word, but if it is not given, Namita was getting ready for a party, but if we have to make a question statement for it, an interrogative sentence, then we will place the helping verb before the subject. Was Namita getting ready for the party? And then you put a question mark. Fine. So this way you form an interrogative sentence for it. And if you have to make a negative sentence, then subject plus helping verb, was and verb plus not. So I'll just take an example for this. Namita was getting ready for a party. So if I have to make a negative sentence, it would be Namita was not getting ready for a party. So this way we make past continuous tense. So it expresses the action that was happening in the past time at the time of speaking. So these are some of the examples of past continuous tense. Let us go to the next slide, that is for past perfect tense. Past perfect tense is used to express an action completed before a given moment in the past. That means we use past perfect tense in order to highlight the action completed just before a certain moment in the past. If two actions happened in the past, it may be necessary to show which action happened earlier than the other one. For example, the train had left before we reached the station. So there are two actions. The train had left and we reached the station. So in order to make a past perfect tense, the train had just left before we reached the station. So the one action has taken place before the other action had already commenced. So the sentence structure for this would be had plus past participle form of the verb. So what we need to put? Had for both singular as well as for plural subject. Had plus third form of the verb. And if we have to make a negative sentence, then it would be had plus not plus past participle, third form of the verb. So in order to make past perfect tense, we sometimes make a mistake. Like we generally use had at random, like wherever we use in order to make a past tense, generally we use had. But then that is wrong. We need to make it correct. For example, I had gone to Delhi yesterday. If I make the sentence this way, it would be absolutely wrong. What can I make? I went to Delhi yesterday. Fine. So past perfect tense basically refer to the tense which had before the past participle and the form of verb. So this way we are referring it to a sentence that an action completed before another action took place. Fine. The train had left before we reached the station. So it is expressing an action completed before another action. Let us take a look at the other examples. I had done my exercise when Hari came to see me. So there are two sentences. I was doing my exercise and Hari came to see me. But what had happened? I had already done my exercise when Hari came to see me. So this action had already been done when Hari came to see me. I had not played tennis. So had plus not. So this is the negative sentence. Next one is the security agency had reached the airport before the plane. So the agency had already reached the airport before the plane had arrived or before the plane arrived. So this way past perfect tense refers to the action completed before another action, or sometimes it expresses an unfulfilled wish, as in I wish I had won the election. Or sometimes it denotes an action or an event which has been completed before some time. For example, by evening, I had completed much work. That means I am hoping that by evening, I would be able to finish lot of work. So, a past perfect tense refers to an action completed before a given moment in the past. And let us recapitulate the structure. We use had plus past participle form of the verb. That means third form of the verb. And for negative sentence, we use had plus not plus third form of the verb. So, the next slide we are going to talk about past perfect continuous. Now, past perfect continuous tense expresses an action that began in the past and has been in the progress at the time of speaking. That means the action started in the past, but it is still continuing at the time of speaking. It is also used to express an action that finished just a while ago. And the sentence structure is subject plus had plus been plus verb in the ing form. And if you have to make a negative sentence, so you use had plus not plus been plus verb in the ing form. And generally it is used with the time reference since and for. Since and for are often used in present perfect continuous tense to show the time reference, as in since show the point of time, for shows the period of time. So it expresses an action that had been going on for some time in the past in order to talk about. So let us look at some of the examples. I had been stitching the dress when Ravi called me up. When Ravi called me up. So this is referring to I had been stitching at the time of speaking. I had been stitching a dress when Ravi called me up. At that time, he had been writing a novel for 2 months. So at that time, at the time when we were talking about, he had been writing a novel for 2 months. When Mrs. Bajwa came to school, sorry, there is a spelling mistake, C-A-M-E. When Mrs. Bajwa came to school, Miss Shalini had already been teaching there for 5 years. Fine. So, in one sentence, you can find simple present tense, and the other sentence you would find past perfect continuous tense. When we met, you had been working on the project for 2 months. It had been raining for last 3 days. That means it had been raining for last 3 days. So for last 3 days, it's the time reference, and it had been continuously raining from last 3 days. The students had been waiting for the result until yesterday. So this phrase can be used, these words can be used like yesterday, lately. Fine. So the students had been waiting for the results until yesterday. So these are some of the examples of past perfect continuous tense. So this also expresses an action that had been going on for some time before another action took place. And for negative sentence, we use not. So this we had already discussed. Now let us look at some of the examples, the practice exercise of the entire past tense. Ravi dashed the school at the age of 12, and your verb is leave. Ravi left the school at the age of 12. Simple past tense. I dashed my uncle's letter yesterday. So the word yesterday itself tells you that it is to be in simple past tense. I received my uncle's letter yesterday. When I saw him, he dashed chess. So that means when I saw him, he was playing chess. So this sentence tells you that it is in past continuous tense. The train had left before I dashed the station. Before I reached the station. So it is past perfect tense. I dashed to her house on foot. So I went to her house on foot. She found that the baby dashed bitterly. So at the time of speaking, this action is going on. So she found that the baby was crying bitterly, past continuous tense. Mohan already dashed his breakfast. Mohan had already taken his breakfast. If you dash her, she would have got her first division. So it would be if you had helped her. If you had helped her, she would have got her first division. If Rama dashed bus, she would have caught the train. If Rama had taken the bus, she would have caught the train. The bell dashed before I reached the school. The bell had gone before I reached the school. So I hope with this video you are able to recapitulate the past tense and the different kinds of past tense, and with the practice exercise it will be helpful for you to use the correct tenses in the past form. So if you like my video, kindly like and share it, and do subscribe it. Thank you.